You're listening to Pole Parlour, a fun, inspiring podcast for all those bewitched by pole dance. Each week, your Madam Crimson Minx has candid conversation with unique, engaging individuals from within and around the pole dance community. Pole Parlour is passionate about preaching creativity, soulful sensuality, and empowerment through pole dance.
You know how we do.
Welcome, everyone, to Pole Parlour. This is episode 59, Felix Cane. I'm your host, Crimson Minx. This week on the podcast, we have the queen herself, Felix Cane. On this episode, we talk about how Felix went from trained ballet dancer to one of the biggest pole dance stars in the world, her viral Miss Pole Dance Australia YouTube video that influenced so many women and men to begin their own pole dance journey, her experience traveling around the world with Cirque Du Soleil, and we also chat about her current life as a studio and competition owner. Check out all the notes from today's show at www.poleparlour.com, and while you're there, check out the Pole Parlour shop for some fun pole wear and accessories. And also, shout out to today's episode sponsor, Aerial Therapy. Aerial Therapy is the island of Bermuda's first and only dedicated pole studio. Conveniently located just outside the city of Hamilton, every detail of the facility was designed with pole in mind. They cater to all fitness levels, body types, and pole styles with 11 plus classes per week and 5 certified instructors who are passionate, experienced, diverse, and most of all, fun. If you ever needed an excuse to take a trip to the beautiful island of Bermuda, now you have one. And the studio owner, Marilyn, is a total babe. You can learn more at www.aerialtherapybermuda.com. And now, let's bring on Felix.
I'm in my prime.
Welcome, Felix Cane, to the Pole Parlour podcast. How are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, pleasure's all mine. Thanks for joining us. Let's jump in. The same question we start with every guest. For how long have you been poling, and how did you first discover pole dance?
I have been poling for 14 years in January, so nearly 14 years, 13 years and a bit. And
so
I
that's
started
2004?
2006 should be, or maybe it's 13. 2006, January.
2006. Okay.
Is that 14 years? Next January? I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I'm good at pole dancing, not good at math.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
So 2006 in January. And I started because my little sister she was 14 years old at the time, and she had gone to a pole dancing class. My mum had let her go to a pole dancing class, and she came back home and she was so excited about it. And I said to my mum, you know, how could you let her do that? That's just for strippers. That's disgusting, mother. You're such a bad mum. And she said to me, oh, You've got to be more open-minded. It's not what you think it is. Like, you should really check it out. You'd probably enjoy it. And so I realized that my mom was cooler than me, and I had to try pole dancing. So I was against it, you know. Initially, I thought it was a dirty, horrible, nasty thing, and I didn't want to do it, but I had to because mom is not cooler than me. I had to be cooler than mom, and that's how I started. I went to a pole dancing class, and I actually did fall in love with it from the very first hour. So Mama knew.
Oh, she called it. Does your sister still pole dance?
No, she just did that one free trial, and that was it.
What are the chances? That's so funny, the irony and all of that. Wow.
I know. Because I never would have done it by myself. Like, just because I was curious. I never would have.
Wow. And what part of Australia was this in?
This was in Perth, Western Australia.
Okay. Awesome. Where you still are, right? You're still in Perth?
Yeah,
Yes.
I am.
Okay. Wow. So did you have a history in dance or like sport or anything? What were you coming in with?
Yes, I trained ballet for since I was years old.
Oh, wow.
So I was 20. I was just 20 when I started, or 21 when I started pole dancing. So a lot of ballet. I wanted to be a ballerina. So I went to a full-time dance school in London called the English National Ballet, and graduated from there. And then after that, I stopped dancing and went back to university. So I had a little break from dancing because I wasn't happy doing it, but I was miserable without it. So I had ballet in me, and then I found pole dancing.
So you had graduated from the school in London, and you had just come back to Australia to get on some type of like quote unquote career path.
Yeah. So after I graduated, I was quite young when I graduated.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what the heck, like 20?
Yeah, I was 14 when I started at the full-time dance school. So I was 16 when I graduated, and for most jobs in dance and in ballet, you need to be 18. So it was difficult for me to get work.
Yeah.
So for 2 years, I sort of tried to get regular. Well, I wanted to be in a company, but it was all I was getting was sort of temporary jobs as a dancer, and I wasn't happy doing it. So I decided to go back to university, and I studied science, and then came back to Australia to study, and was studying at uni when I found pole dancing. So it was sort of I thought that my dancing days were over.
The universe works in very mysterious ways.
It sure does.
But obviously the ballet helped you tremendously in being able to pick up on pole so quickly. And
yes, definitely.
Your flexibility.
I think that having that body awareness and coordination, ballet is very technically extremely difficult, and there's one right way of doing it, and you have to train extremely hard to do everything correctly. So you have a huge amount of coordination, and I think that transfers over to the pole really well.
Yeah, no, definitely. What was 2006 you started, you did Miss Pole Dance Australia 2006.
Yeah, so I had been pole dancing for 8 months, I think, when I won that competition.
Get out. That's crazy. So you just decided right away, you were that hooked, so you started training immediately and were looking up competitions, because I'm sure the submission for that was like months before, and so...
Yeah, so first they had the WA heat, so the Western Australia heat. I think that was... I can't really remember. I think it was maybe 2 months before the finals. So maybe I'd been pole dancing for about 6 months, maybe less. And I was a little bit apprehensive about doing it because I hadn't been doing it for very long. And I didn't think I was very good. So, so I did it because I thought, well, why not? And then I won the WA heat, and then... went through to the finals, and then I won that one as well. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd say. Good way to start off your career.
Yeah, I think because I didn't really have much experience in the pole dancing world or industry, I wasn't really expecting anything. I just was curious and wanted to experience being on stage as a pole performer. So I guess I just didn't really have any expectations, and I had a lot of experience on stage. Like I have been dancing since I was 4, so I enjoy performing. I love being on stage, so it was something that I wanted to do.
Wow, yeah, that performance, as I'm sure you know, is cited so often as the video that polers around the world saw and was like, that I want to do that. Like
it's really cool, isn't it? Yeah. It's so, I think it was kind of like lucky timing and everything, because I'm not a very technologically savvy person. Like I'm good at the splits and that's about it. So back then, the guy actually who filmed the performance, he was the one that put it up on YouTube. And I still have never put a video of myself up on YouTube because I don't know how. So it's quite interesting that interesting timing, I think, because it was one of the first pole videos that was on YouTube. So was one of the first videos that was seen by a lot of people, which was cool as well.
Yeah,
Accident.
wow. Yeah, give that guy some credit. I hope he knows what an industry that dude, I don't even know if you still know who he is, but he's kind of like
his name is Zoltan, and I think I'm pretty sure he's still filming. The film company is called Delicatessen. And I think so shout out to him.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, he's like being responsible for getting so many people interested in finding a pole studio and starting to dance.
Exactly.
Yeah, so what was that day like? Just because I feel like it's one of those few moments in pole history that like should be properly documented, or it would be nice to know like, hey, like that is a really important performance. Like you just kind of went in like,
I remember I was extremely nervous. I still get extremely nervous whenever I go on stage. I have huge stage fright and anxiety. So I was super nervous. And what do I remember? I remember not being able to sleep the night before, so I was extremely tired. It was in a hotel or some sort of venue, like a big hall, kind of like a wedding venue. It wasn't a theater. And so there was a ballroom full of like pole dancers, anxious pole dancers. And there was one pole dancer, I can't remember her name, but she got really drunk and she got disqualified. So I remember that. I think she tried to punch the organizer. And then I went on and I thought I did rubbish. And I came off, I was like, oh, well, there's always next year. Because there were pole dancers that people sort of knew who they were because they've been in the industry a bit longer. And so I was like, oh, they're definitely going to win. They're much better than me. They're much stronger than me. They're much better pole dancers. And my style was really different as well. So I thought it was just like, oh, well, never mind, gave it a shot. And then I won. And then I remember being just really surprised. And then I slept really well that night. So I don't remember very much, such a long time ago, but those are the things I remember.
Hey, no, that's enough. That's cool. And like you said, you weren't like the other dancers because you had been dancing less and you had your ballet influence. Like when you were even putting your piece together, like did you have influences that inspired you for your pieces back then before, because this is before social media and stuff?
Yeah, not really. It was just the moves. It was literally all the moves I could do. That was it. That was my pole repertoire. And I tried to utilize my extensions because I had them from ballet. So I tried to utilize as much of my dance that I could. And I suppose creating a piece that was very in sync with the music. So musically, a beautifully constructed piece of dance, because I didn't have that many pole tricks. And back then, I think the time limit was a lot longer. I think we had to go for 7 minutes or something crazy. So
oh my gosh,
there was a lot of time and not a lot of pole moves.
Yeah, I mean, who could do it for that long? That would be intense.
Yeah. Oh, it was just basic spins though. And I think the video that's on YouTube is only the second half of the performance that was on the spinning pole. There was a whole other half on the static pole, which probably didn't make it onto YouTube because I was so terrible.
Zoltar just made a decision. He was like,
I just put the good bit on. Nobody's going to want to see this bit.
Oh, I'm curious now. I'm sure it was absolutely fabulous. But that's very interesting to know that you had performed like a whole other half before getting into that. Damn.
Yeah. So that was just the second half, the final bit. Bless young Felix. She had so much energy.
Yeah, I'm glad that's been updated. That would be a really hard thing for a lot of people to try to maintain. My goodness. Well, so okay, after this, you win. You didn't know. You're like, oh, me. And so, did you decide then and there you were going to start pursuing pole and leave the science behind, or how did that transition happen?
Oh no, I decided that pretty much like 2 weeks into pole dancing. I was like, oh, this is what I want to do with my life. Yep, I can see that there's a studio, and this is how I want to make. This is how I want to make my money. I want to make my money pole dancing. I don't want to be a research scientist. I don't want to be in a lab for the rest of my life. I want to move my body, and I think that going into it, I was like, oh, I don't have to use my dance background only in one way. Like I can use it in this way, and this is what I want to do. This is my world now. And so I quit uni, I quit my job, and just started pole dancing full time.
Your moms didn't know what she'd set you up for.
Oh, mom and dad were like, what? You want to do what? Don't you think that it's just a hobby? You could just have it as a hobby.
Like, nope. It worked out for you. So, they're eating their words now, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, they're super proud now. At first they were like, oh no.
No, I feel like that's good parenting to be like, are you sure?
Yeah. Well, because I only had, I was in my final year at uni. I think I only had 1 year left. And I just like, nah, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be a scientist. I want to be a pole dancer. And so they were like, maybe just finish the degree and then be a pole dancer. But I was like, nah, pole dancing now. This is what I do now.
You could always go back, I suppose.
Well, the brain will wait, but the body won't.
Yeah, isn't that true? Yeah, totally. So what did that look like then? So when you were a professional pole dancer back in 2006, 2007, 2008, how did you make that happen?
Well, I think that one of the very first pole dancing gigs I ever got was because it was just before the competition. I hadn't ever performed pole in front of people before, just in the studio. So I wanted to get some experience performing pole dancing. So I'd created this act, the one that's on YouTube, and I took it to a strip club because that was the only place with poles. And I said, hi, I'm going to do a show for you. I'm not going to take off my clothes, and you're going to pay me for it. And they were like, probably not. I was like, how about I just do one tonight, and you can see what it is. And if you hate it, I'll leave, and I'll never come back. And if you like it, then you can pay me. And they were like, but you have to take your clothes off. And I was like, nah, no, I don't. And so I did the same show that I performed at the competition, and I came off stage and they're like, all right, so you're going to be here every Friday and Saturday, and this is the pay that you're going to get. And I was like, no, I'm going to be here every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and this is the pay I'm going to get. I was a very rambunctious little young pole dancer. So and they were adamant that I was going to take my clothes off, and I just said no. And so I started working in a strip club as a non-stripper, just as a performer.
Oh, wow. And did you eventually get to the part where you're taking the clothes off, or were you just always like,
not when I was pole dancing. I always, when I was doing the pole act, I always kept my clothes on. But that's I remember one night I came off stage, one of the girls that I had made friends with who was working at the club was like, Felix, I've got a lap dance for us. I'm like, oh, no, I don't do that. I'm a performer. I'm not a stripper. And she was like, it's $400. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to copy you. So that was when I sort of realized, oh, I can make a lot of money doing nothing and practicing, or I can work my butt off 9 till 5 to try and make money to pole dance. So that was when I transitioned into working at the strip club. So I was like, well, this is easy. I just get paid to practice.
Yeah.
So I spent 8 or 9 hours a day practicing instead of working, and that worked out better for me.
Oh my gosh. So they would let you do performance and then do the floor stuff is work the floor as well?
Yeah. They were really, really quite, I think, happy to have me because I was
I assume so.
Well, easily the best pole dancer in WA. And so I brought a lot of people in to come and see the crazy girl on the pole. Yeah. And I was terrible at hustling, but because my shows were very good, that's how I sort of made money. People would just be like, oh, that was very impressive. Here's some money. Thank you very much.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, because a lot of strip clubs have that today. They have feature performers that don't strip. So look, you like kind of started the thing.
Yeah. I totally started it.
Yeah, no one did it before you.
Nobody did it before me. That was me.
But it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. And that's awesome. Australia, they don't throw dollars, right?
No,
it's
they have because we don't have a dollar note. We only have a dollar coin.
We discussed this before. Okay. Yeah.
Thankfully, they don't throw dollars, but you buy tipping dollars at the club prints. Okay. So then at the end of the night, the dancers will cash them in. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I always try to remember to ask that because I'm just super curious with the guests that come on and they're strippers, and then I forget which countries. Say what. Yeah. So,
but the good thing is though, when people do throw dollars at you, the smallest bill is a $5 note. So I've had like 50s and 100s thrown at me, and I'm like, hey! So yeah, they don't throw dollar bills, but they still throw money at you.
That's cool.
Well,
that's like it. Yeah. So then, did you start touring, doing workshops?
No, I didn't. I was teaching here in Australia, just like at a pole studio. And then what happened? I didn't start doing workshops, I don't think, in the first few years that I was pole dancing. Probably not until I won the second Miss Pole Dance Australia. And then right after I won that, I think is when I got offered the contract from Cirque Du Soleil. So then I went over to Cirque. I think I was only teaching for maybe 2 and a bit years. It wasn't very long before I got the contract with Cirque. So then I left, went to Cirque, and I think that's when I started doing a lot of touring and a lot of workshops, was after I left Australia.
Okay, yes. Let's talk about it. You got asked. You didn't even reach out to Cirque du Soleil.
So they saw a video of me on YouTube, and then I think what happened is one of the talent scouts found a video, and then it was forwarded to the artistic director of Zumanity, which is the Cirque du Soleil show in Las Vegas at New York. And then they contacted me and asked me if I'd like to live in Vegas for a couple of years, and I said yes. So yeah, that was really. I think I would never have thought that pole dancing would be in the circus. My career has all just been a surprise. I just, okay, are you sure? Okay, yeah. And so I don't know. I just never really thought I was that good at pole dancing to be in Cirque du Soleil, and but then I was. So I remember when I went over, I was so like intimidated by everybody because everyone was so amazing, and I just was watching people warm up like, oh wow, everyone's amazing.
That must be trippy. Yeah,
it was trippy. I was like, oh my goodness, they're all gonna see how shit I am at the pole, and I can't even do a handstand. What am I doing in Cirque du Soleil?
What worked out? What was your role? Like, what was your act in it?
So in Zumanity, I think the character's called Flame, and she is basically trying to reignite the passion between her and her partner that's sort of fizzled out over time. So she's trying to re-seduce her partner. And it's called Dance on TV. So there's a TV at the beginning, and there's all the boys are all watching a football game, and her I guess point or purpose throughout the act is to slowly get the attention of the boys. And she's a bit angry with everyone, so she ends up beating them up a little bit and then getting their attention by taking her top off.
Yeah, because this is like a sexy Cirque du Soleil, right? Like
it's topless. So it's 18 and above, I think.
Cool.
And maybe it's different in America. Is it 21 or 18? I think it's 18. I can't remember. Yeah. And so it's a sexy circus.
Cool. Yeah. How long did you do it for?
I think I was in that one for 2.5 years.
Oh my gosh.
And then I went to the Michael Jackson Immortal World Tour, which is the Cirque du Soleil show. That was a touring one, so not in Vegas anymore. And that one I was with for 4 years, I think, 4 and a bit years.
Oh my gosh. So you were living in the States for a while.
Yeah. I was living there when I was in Vegas for 2.5 years, but then when I was on tour, because I left from the States, I just kept most of my stuff in Vegas because I didn't have a house anywhere else. So that was kind of my base point. But yeah, not a hugely long time.
Okay. Still, were you, and you said you were able to do you had breaks to do workshops and like travel around a bit? That's cool.
Yeah, definitely. So that was good. And then when I wasn't working and touring, then I was with the circus. I was touring by myself and doing workshops for myself.
Oh wow, yeah. So that's a lot. And you did not do any strip club stuff in Vegas, or you did?
No, never.
Didn't have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were busy enough. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's super fun. So you did. So the Michael Jackson tour comes. You were with him for 4
years, I think.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. 4.5, maybe 4 years. Yeah.
And that's international.
Yeah, that was all over the world. And that was the all ages show as well. I kept my boobs in for that one.
That's just as fine. Well, I mean, you must have been an introduction for a lot of people to pole, because if you were one of the first people to pole dance in Cirque, and how many people see that show, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And that was like one of the main reasons that I took that contract, was because it was like an all ages. It was like Zumanity was awesome, but it was still that sort of sexy, only for adults, sort of pole dancing. But I thought it was awesome to have the combination of like Michael Jackson, all these amazing performers, dancers, and be asked to pole dance in that show as well. I thought I was really flattered and really impressed that they wanted to put pole dancing in such a huge show. So that was cool.
Yeah, you really are an introduction for a lot of people to pole via your shows or YouTube. That's super cool. It's a good time to be emerging.
It's really humbling to hear, and I hear it a lot when people say, your video is the reason I started pole dancing, and that's amazing, because I love it. I love dancing, and I love pole dancing more than anything in the world. And so when that translates into inspiration for somebody else, and it makes them want to get up and try it, I don't think there's anything else you can really ask for than sharing your joy.
I know, that's crazy. So did you, during that time, were you involved in like other pole industry competitions or performances or anything like that? Or were you kind of really just existing in the Cirque world?
I was really just in the Cirque world. It's very time consuming, especially in Vegas, because you do 2 shows a night.
Wow.
And it's just a lot of work. And so physically you're exhausted, and contractually, you're not really allowed to do much outside of the circus, especially with your performance, because of the risk to your body.
That makes sense.
So it's to replace any performer is very expensive for Cirque, so they are very protective of what you do with your body, and that's understandable. So you are limited in what you can do and how much you can do. They let you do things, but you have to get permission, and you have to be safe.
Yeah.
So really, you are limited, but at the same time, you're working for one of the greatest circus companies in the world. So.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like a lot of people do the competitions and the performances to get that job, to get into Cirque Ultimate, like a, Janine Butterfly or something like that, who it's like, everyone wants that, and you kind of just didn't.
You want to make a name for yourself so you can get the big jobs and be in the circuses. Yeah. And then there's some asshole that just gets a surprise email.
You were before the time. You were a pioneer, Felix. So speaking of keeping your body safe, you did have like an accident, right?
I had a bad accident in the creation of the Michael Jackson show. So basically it was a mechanical malfunction. So I was on the pole and they lost control of the motor. Oh. And so I was flung off it and I broke a lot of my face.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was really bad, but Cirque handled it, amazingly well, and they cover everything that needed to be covered. And I was lucky to be able to be put back together and be able to pole dance, and all the rehab and everything was at Cirque. So it was a pretty horrific accident. It was really awful, and the recovery was very long, but I'm still here, and
your face looks
still
beautiful.
Pole dance. I know, they fixed me up so pretty.
How long was the recovery for?
It was about a year, I guess,
wow.
all up. It took quite a long time because I damaged my shoulder quite badly, and that was this is my dominant shoulder, so that took a lot of work because it's got such a big tear in it. I can't use it the same way that I used to, so I had to strengthen other parts of my body to compensate for the load that this was no longer able to take.
Oh my gosh. What city were you in when this happened, where you were recovering everything?
I was in Ottawa. We were in an arena in Ottawa. Yeah.
Okay. So did you stayed in Canada to take care of everything?
I did. The surgery, I had to have an emergency facial reconstruction, and that was done in Ottawa. And then I went to Montreal, and I was in Montreal for a little while, and then they shipped me back home to my parents because I couldn't really do anything.
Your parents were probably so freaked out.
Oh, Mom and Dad were they were mortified that I went back to working, doing the same thing. I was like, well, what else am I going to do, Mom? This is what I do. And it's a risk that you are aware of when you go into using your body as your tool. And when you are in a big company and doing working with big mechanics and big motors and big stages, it is a risk that you have to be aware of. And accidents happen. So I'm just lucky that I'm still here.
Oh, well, we're so happy you are too.
Yeah, thanks.
So at what point, so you finished up the Michael Jackson show, you went back after you kind of went through rehab a bit, finished up the show, and then you were like, I'm going to head back to Australia now?
Yeah, so actually the show came through Perth. I think it was on one of the last legs. I think it was one more leg after this. It was another Asian. We went through Asia again after Australia. But we came through Perth, and I was like, oh, I just don't want to live out of a suitcase anymore. I just wanted a washing machine and a kitchen. And I think after 4 years of being not having a home, and really it's been about 7 or 8 years since I had left Perth, left home to go to the circus. And when I left, I was young and I just wanted to see the world, and I wanted to work and I wanted to do things. And when I came back, I was like, oh, I definitely want to stop moving now. I just really wanted a base, and Perth felt like home. So I hung up my touring shoes and unpacked my suitcases and settled down here.
Yeah. And did you open your studio right away, or did?
Yes, I'm here right now.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I was here for about 2 years maybe before I opened the studio. 2 years? Yeah. 2 years before I opened my studio. So
yeah, that must be weird to come back and be like, okay, what are you gonna do? Go train at a studio or teach, or you kind of
yeah, exactly. And I think that after such a long time in the industry, you're like, okay, it's time to do my own thing now. I don't want to work for anybody else, and I've established my name, and I'm gonna use it.
Yeah. So what's your studio like? Do you have a mission and inspiration?
Yeah, definitely. So I think I've got two main missions, and that's to really encourage the feeling of family and community that pole dancing has. So I think my number one goal is to make people feel welcome, and to make people feel like, you don't have to look like a certain way. You don't have to be super flexible. It's pole dancing is something that's for everyone, and everybody is welcome here. And then my second and main goal is to make it affordable for everybody. So not to have it as a elitist or boutique-y form of fitness, but have it as something that is affordable for everybody, and something that everybody can do as their fitness, not just as like once a week, but as regular training on a daily basis.
How do you do that?
So I offer unlimited access at the studio. So if you're training more than 3 classes a week, it's better for you to do the unlimited access. So after 3 classes, basically all your other classes are free. So you pay just under the cost of 3 classes, and then so it's 75 Australian dollars a week, and then you can do as many classes as you want. You can do every single class that's on the timetable, and there's I think 40 classes a week.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm assuming a lot of people take advantage of that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's great, because you don't have to have a gym membership and then come to the pole dancing studio and then practice by yourself, invest in a pole. You can do everything here. I do stretching classes, I do acro classes, I do aerial classes, and that's all included in your unlimited access. So I really want to make it a place where you can come and be every day and have fun while you're being fit as well.
Yeah, like if you're because that's how people treat the gym. They're there every day, and but it's just like a more fun, sexy gym.
Yeah, exactly. So because that's how I train. I don't go to the gym and then come to pole once a week. I'm here every single day. So I want it to be reflective of my experience and how I like to train.
Yeah. And do you teach a lot of classes still?
I teach every day. I love it. Oh, that's a lie. I have like 1 day off.
Oh, well, 6 days, that's still pretty impressive, I have to say.
Yeah. I love it. I love teaching, and I think as long as my body can do it, I will do it, because it's so rewarding. It's the best. Performing is one thing, but teaching and guiding and helping is such a different thing, and it's so amazing when you see people that you've taught them their very first pole move, and then the next thing you see, they're on stage, they're performing, they're competing, and that's truly awesome.
Yeah, and you have the Felix Cane Pole Championship.
Yes. I love it.
And that's in Perth.
I love it. It's in Perth, cool. Yeah. So selfishly, Perth we are one of the most isolated cities in the world. So
I did not know that.
I force all these incredible pole dancers to come here. No, it's a really awesome comp. It's pole dancing the way that I want to see pole dancing done. So not just, I'm very impressed by the tricks, but the showmanship and creating a show, telling a story, making me feel something with pole dancing. That's what I really like to see. And so with this comp, it really challenges people to create pieces of art, and it's been phenomenal so far. It really has. All of these performers in the professional and the amateur just blow me away. They're so awesome.
Wow. So is that a requirement if you want to enter, do you have to submit like a narrative of some sort, or?
No, not to submit. So what I do is I open the competition up to video submission. So the professional comp is open up to video submission, and I go through all the videos, and anything that I want to see more of, then I let you know. So it's more rather than forcing people to do extra work, I sort of say, give me your best work so far. And if it moves me and I want to see more, then I'll let you know. And then when they come over to do the professional comp is when they have to interpret the theme of the event. Oh,
so each one has a theme.
Yeah, each comp has a different theme. Yeah.
What was the last theme? Yeah.
The last theme, I can look at them because I've got them up. So the very first one was Creatures of the Night. The second one was Guilty Pleasures. Third one is Metropolis, and the current one that hasn't been yet, so next year's one is Playtime.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And then
I'm excited.
Yeah, and then you have amateurs can come as well. You have an amateur portion. Oh, that's awesome.
I have an amateur competition as well. So that's just finished. On last Saturday, we had the finals. It runs a little bit differently. So I have, instead of one night, I have 3 weeks of heats, and if you get through to the final, then it's on the final the 4th week. So, and then I have interstate entries who can submit by video.
Oh my gosh. So wait, are you renting places for like all of these weeks or just the final one?
Oh no, we have a venue for all of the weeks.
Oh my goodness, girl.
Yeah. And we sold out every
Did
week
you?
this time. Yeah, it was really, and only second year it's been running, so that was really cool.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
So it's like, so the studio, your championship, your competitions, is that like the main bulk of your focus? Not that I mean, that's a lot. I can't imagine if you're fitting something else in, but I thought I would ask.
Yeah, definitely the studio. The competitions are like my my little break from the studio, because they're my other thing to work on that I really enjoy, and they're only like once a year. But the studio now is my main focus, and also I do a little bit of traveling, every year. Probably do 4 trips a year, but I don't stay away for very long because of the studio. I always want to be back here. It's young. It's only 2 years old in next March, so it's still my little baby.
Yeah.
And so I like to be here as much as possible.
Yeah, so you'll get the highest bidder, I guess. You'll go do some traveling, pick it, and just you can't spread yourself thin. We've talked to so many people on this podcast that's what it's come down to. It's like, I want to do everything, but I have to just each year say I'm only going to do this many weeks, and then I commit to who I'm going to commit to. And
to be honest, it's also just the people that I have known for a long time that I'll travel for, and just because I've been doing this for a long time, and you have bad experiences. So for me, it's safer if I only go with people I know, or with people who I know have recommended.
Yeah, so, that makes sense. So, you're at the point where you're allowed to do that.
yeah, exactly. And you meet every now and again, you'll meet someone new, and you're like, okay, you. I'll come see you.
Or like, I want to go to this city I've never been to before. Exactly. I want to be on an island at this time. So,
but now it's a little bit easier because a lot of people do tour, so you can just ask them, "Hey, have you been here? And what was this person like? And is this a good place to go? Did you make good money? And what are the hours like?" And so now it's easier because there are so many people who do tour. But before it's a little tricky, it's a little risky.
Yeah, I could imagine. Just as it's for people who are either going to travel or who are hosting workshops. What would be something to look out for? What's something that people should keep in mind that would make for like a bad experience you had?
As a host or as a guest?
I would say as a host. We're gonna assume that you're not, as the guest, doing bad things, but
okay. So one of the worst experiences that I ever had was having to teach 9 hours of workshops in a row.
Oh my gosh!
So without a break, yeah. So I think definitely make sure that you don't do that, because they will never come back.
No! Oh my gosh! That's
and another one was not having a bed to sleep in, only having like a couch. Or not having a bed at all, but just being able to sleep in the car. That's enough, right? While we transfer you from one place to another. So rest is important for a pole performer. Make sure they've got a comfortable bed and they can rest, and also not that it's not a horrible thing, but a lot of the times when you go to places, people are very excited to see you, but you might have been on a plane for 24 hours and you don't have the energy, and people want to go out and they want to get you dinner and drinks and they want to experience life with you, and you want to give it to them, but you just don't have the energy.
You're so tired.
Yeah, so maybe just at least one decent night's sleep before you take them out to dinner.
You're like, because I'll take the dinner. I'll have the
dinner. I really enjoy food.
Good things to remember. Yeah, because, people may think like, oh, they're going to think I'm boring or I'm not like trying to like acclimate them to the community. But really you're like, oh my goodness, like I have to teach tomorrow and I need just to like,
and I think that the majority of people who do tour, they like, if I ever host anyone at my house, I say, okay, here's the Wi-Fi, there's your bedroom, here's your towels, I'm going to leave you alone. When you need me, come and get me. And I just sort of leave them with their space, because when they're away from home, they're away from loved ones, they're away from family. They just want to touch base and have some alone time, have a shower and eat some food and probably go to sleep, because that's the type of thing that I like to do. I just want to call my boyfriend, tell him I'm alive, eat some food, have a shower and go to sleep.
And then I guess if you're hosting people, what would be something that would be like, if that a guest would do that's just being needy, I guess, or something? Not to focus on the negative, but
but it's so funny when it is. I haven't experienced a bad guest, luckily.
Oh, good.
But some of my friends have, and they're like people who eat all the food in the fridge and demand more. Want to be taken places, like chauffeured, like they're they can't take a taxi. They have to be driven everywhere. Just very demanding people, I think, are the funniest sorts of guests.
Yeah, I guess you just have to be like, don't eat all people's stuff and don't be.
I think just when you're very different sort of people to the people that you're hosting, like some people are night people and some people are morning people. So, if you're a night person who sleeps until 2 p.m. staying with someone who's up at 5 a.m., like, why are they sleeping? It's always entertaining.
Yeah, I don't know. That's always fascinated me with the traveling around the world thing, because I'm like, well, there's got to be situations where it's just like a bit awkward or something, and you're like, I just want a hotel.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this is a bit strange. I think probably the most fun is when there's a language barrier and you're trying to say things, but you both don't understand each other. So you just end up going, oh, I don't know. Let's just whatever. Just take me wherever. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I'm right for my workshop.
I think if you are the type of person that can adapt to different situations quite easily, then it doesn't really stress you out. But if you're kind of used to everything being a certain way, if you have a very strict diet, for example, sometimes traveling and that are not conducive. But if you're like, never mind, it's not going to kill me, it's fine, then it's a lot easier just to sort of make it work.
Yeah, you really would have to go with the flow, probably be laid back to be and
also appreciating that it's not easy for a lot of people to, get you over and organize workshops and have. So I think, to be appreciative, even if it's not perfect and it's not ideal, just to know that a lot of work has gone into getting you there, and just to take it as it comes, really. There's people there who are so excited to see you and so gracious that you're there, that you can only be happy to be there, even if it's not your ideal situation.
Oh, that's very true and very gracious of you to say, because I can't imagine you would be like diva and be like, where's my... I said Captain Crunch. Where's
my Captain Crunch? I'm eating this.
I hate this
organic vegan.
Like throwing their soap and lotion around, like,
this was not in my contract.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know if pole dancers have riders like rock stars do, but maybe we're not there yet. But
I think some of them do. I certainly don't, but I think some of them do.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you hear some interesting stories like touring around. I'm like, what? I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Like
now.
I could have gotten away with that. I could have been
right?
getting a bottle of whiskey at every house.
Yeah, one I don't know who it was. I can't even remember who I was talking to about it, but there was somebody who was demanding first class flights and 5-star hotels, and I was like, who has the money to do that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hang on a sec. I've been doing this all wrong.
Like, all right, you get on the phone with your lawyer. We need a new contract here.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, oh, hello, Felix. Yes, Felix. You need to do some work on your contract.
Note to self: get lawyer.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I have a lawyer now. I wish I had known about lawyers when I was younger, man.
Yeah,
that's something I would say to young Felix. I would say get an entertainment lawyer to look over all of your contracts.
Yeah. That, especially when you were traveling as much as you did, and
yeah, I was pretty lucky with circuits, like they're
standard.
Really standard contracts. Yeah. So there wasn't anything that was really like bad in them, but I still would have I think I should have understood them more. I was so excited. I was like,
I'll take it.
Cirque Du Soleil, okay.
Oh, so now that you've been dancing for this long, what kind of pole dance excites you today after all of these years? Like what kind of things do you enjoy doing too?
When I'm watching, it's definitely when people are feeling the music and dancing to the music, and they don't even have to be doing hard things, but if you can capture the music in your body and make me feel the music by the movements that you're doing, I am putty in your hands. That's the type of dancing that I like to see. It's beautiful music, and it's dance movements interpreted perfectly to that music. So not necessarily the hardest tricks, but movement that is perfect with the music. That's what excites me. What do I enjoy doing? I think the older I get, the more I realize that I'm good only at the flexi moves and not at the flipping or the strength moves. So I feel most confident trying new things that involve my leg flexibility.
Yes, for those who don't know, Felix came up with the spatchcock and the eagle, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I mean, hello, leg flexibility.
Yeah, my legs are very flexible. I cannot flip. I enjoy trying to flip. I cry, though. I do cry. I get really scared. I start crying. It's ridiculous. I think one day I'm going to do a live video of me trying to flip, because I know I'm being ridiculous. But I can't do it.
I feel like it's a rational fear. I mean, flipping off of a metal pole in the air, that's a natural reaction.
Even the baby flips, though, I just can't. I'm so afraid. I don't even know what I'm afraid of. I'm just afraid of not knowing where my body is in space, and I start crying.
Well, you've gotten this far without having to do it, so don't worry about it.
Sister, I am fine. I'm just going to do the splits. I can't flip. Never mind. Here's my leg.
It's fine. I never noticed you didn't flip, to be honest with you. So
you'll notice now. I got 2 moves. I got the eagle. I got the spatchcock, and that's it. And I've been riding those moves for 12 years.
Hey, whatever works,
Right.
Let's move into the second part of the interview to tie it up with the questions that I ask everyone. And I'm super curious of this first one, because 9 out of 10 times the answer is you. So I'm wondering, you being the person I'm asking, what's your answer going to be? And it is, who is your pole crush?
Alethea Austin.
Good one.
I love her. I love her. She's so beautiful. I love the way she moves. I love the person that she is. I love her.
Yeah, that's it. Obviously, she's another one that comes up all the time, too.
Yeah.
So you two are both super pioneers in the industry in general. So it makes sense that you guys admire each other.
Yeah, she's awesome. And I've known her for such a long time as well. So It's nice. It's cool having like an old school pole buddy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Like, reminisce about the old days when we were really good because we could do the splits.
Yeah, back in our day.
Yeah, anyway, back then when doing the splits was impressive.
For many of us, it still is, and still something to reach for. So rest assured, you still inspire many of us.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad.
And so, how would you like to see the pole community evolve over the next 5 years?
I think it would be, for me, I really enjoy, and I think in the States you have it quite strong, where the pole community as a whole supports each other. So there's a lot of, there is a bit of competition, but it's healthy competition. Whereas I think in Australia, we still have a very your studio, my studio sort of a vibe. And so for me in Australia, I think what I would love to see is that we sort of embrace each other as fellow pole dancers and not as competition to each other. Also, you know, in the same vein that all styles of pole dancing are still pole dancing. We're all just one big happy family, that there's no right or wrong way to do it. And we can learn really cool stuff from each other, even if we're not doing the same style. So I think unifying it, making it bigger, making it better, making it just I think if we just keep going the direction that we're going, we'll be good.
Yeah. And that makes sense considering that the first thing you said when I asked like the mission of your studio was community, that you would want that community to extend like to your entire pole family and not just your studio family, you know?
Oh, so. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I think there's, you know, certainly in Perth, there's not very many studios here. There's plenty of business for everyone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm happy to hear you say that. So hopefully that'll be a bit of an influence.
I hope so. I think it's easy to be catty and bitchy. I think when you're feeling intimidated by, you know, competition or business competition, but I think it's probably better for everybody if we can all be friends.
I would agree with that, and it makes it a lot more enjoyable for everyone as well. Yeah. And who doesn't want that?
Exactly. And I think also as a studio owner, when you set an example and you are not bitching about other studios and about other people's dancers, and when you are encouraging all pole dancers universally and all pole studios universally, then it sets a really good example for those people just coming into the industry. Because I think, you know, your beginners especially, if they come into this world where, you know, you hate this and you hate that and oh, that person over there, what if they want to go to that studio because one day they move closer to that studio? They're going to feel really torn. So I think it's, you know, it's important to realize that the world is bigger than pole dancing and we can all be friends.
I 100% agree with that. And I opened a studio last month, and I was welcomed with open arms here in Austin, Texas. Like I like spoke with every studio before I opened it, and we all were on the same page. I respected them in a different area, not near anyone, and doing like my own thing that's not in direct competition with anyone. And just to have that like support within the community and to still be able to support them. I mean, I would have been fucking miserable if it was like they were all like bitchy, you know, or if I was trying to take their people or something. That's like totally totally not.
And it's so good when that can happen. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not seen as an attack or as you're being a horrible person by stealing business, but you know, you're living your dream, you're doing something that you want to do in your way, and people are supportive. That's amazing.
And like Felix Cane, you're never going to be doing exactly what the other studio is doing.
And
exactly. People can pick, I like that serves me more type of thing. So
or have both, have it all, do whatever you want, you know.
I'm with you, mama. So do you have anything coming up that you want to share with our audience? So when you just go visit you at your studio in Perth.
Yeah, come visit me at my studio in Perth. So I am going to go to Europe in 2018 in the European summer, so June, July. But I haven't finalized any travel dates, or I will be doing some workshops and some touring, but not confirmed yet. So Europe, I'll be there. Also, I guess Playtime, the Felix Cane Pole Championships, the professional competition next year is going to be the 26th of May. I think that's right. I hope it's right now. 26th of May.
Just confirm on Felix's social media, okay? I'll put all of it in the show notes.
We'll double check. But if anybody is interested in submitting an entry to that, to just email me at info@felixcanepolechampionships.com, and I'll definitely get the right date to you. And I can send out all the information on how to enter and submit your video, and maybe come over to Perth and do some dancing for me. That'd be fun.
Yes. Oh, yes. I hope. I'm sure plenty of people already plan to do that. But an excuse to travel to Australia.
Yeah. Oh, and if you just want to come and watch, that's the date that it's going to be, and it will be here in Perth. So come on down. And then I think that's all my exciting news. Hang on, let me think. Yeah, probably.
All right, we'll put all your social media in the show notes too, so people who are, I don't know who the hell's not following you, but if they're not, they can find you, and you can update them closer to the event time and all of that, all the new stuff that comes.
That sounds awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. And before we let you go, can you leave us with an empowering message or quote or story? Just something fun to sign off with?
I was going to think about this, and then I forgot to think about it. Well, I would have to say that there's two things that I find really helpful and important in my pole life and career. One thing is to not compare yourself to anybody else, because you're never going to be anybody else. You're only going to be yourself. And to know what it is that you love and to focus on that. So it's really easy, I think, in pole, because we're always watching other people and looking at other people and being impressed by other people, to stop realizing what it is that we enjoy and why we love to do it. And it becomes more about doing something for somebody else, so, for somebody else's viewing pleasure, and to impress them and to show them that you can do it. So I think always bring it back to you and why you love it, and know why you love it, and focus on that, whether it's the hair flicks or the heels or the sparkles or the makeup or whatever it is, or a certain song that you just want to dance to all the time, and take it back to that and know that that's enough. Like, you don't need to go out and do a Rainbow Marchenko. You can just carry on head flicking for the rest of your pole dancing career, and that's all you need to do, as long as it makes you happy.
Oh, that is top advice right there.
Yeah. And then the second thing is always to stay positive, even when you're injured, when you can't pole dance anymore, is just to stay positive and remember that you're a whole person without pole dancing.
Another great reminder. Yeah, it's hard to remember that sometimes we get so obsessed and so into it, and it's like everything. But
it just becomes your whole world. And then the minute you injure something, you can't do anything. You get really down. Yeah. But we were people before we started pole dancing, and we were happy. So I always try to remember, one day I'm not going to be able to pole dance anymore, and I'm still going to be okay.
Yeah, exactly. Great advice. Thank you so much, Felix. It was so fun talking with you today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Pole Parlour podcast. Want more? Visit poleparlour.com for show notes and to link to the Facebook group where you can connect with other poleaholics and continue the conversation. Listen to past episodes and subscribe to new episodes on the website, YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud. Lots of love, babes. Thanks for listening.